How's it going, everybody? Me and Scotty are back at you with another video, but this time we're not doing no math. This is no event video. We're doing a war teams guide. We can talk about some insane war teams to crush your enemies. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on the Superior 6 and the Sinister 6, how to break them up into two powerhouse teams, and some very high priority enemies take them out. How's it going, Scotty? And how much do you like your Sinister 6 tag?
It's going good, and I really like this team on offense, so I'm definitely leaning that way just because I feel like you can basically have two teams this way. Obviously, there's the argument for them on defense, but just there's a lot that they can do on offense, and I think there's even more that we'll continue to find out as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree. There's lots of flexibility, but without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about that flexibility. All right, now we got to keep the second team secret till the end. I can't have all you guys running away from the video yet. We're going to start by focusing on what I would consider the more powerful team, which is going to be Goblin, Craven, Doc Ock, Vulture, Mysterio, not necessarily in that position. And they can take out some crazy teams. We're talking about taking out new Avengers pretty readily and various Apocalypse teams. Now, for the Secret Defender team, we are going to sub in Lizard because he does get that speed bar against Spider-Verse teams. But these are some very valuable counters, right? And if we can still have a secondary team left over, this is pretty amazing for the Sinister 6 tag.
Yep.
All right, why don't we start, and we'll go over the new Avenger fight. And I'll let you try to talk about a little bit of the pitfalls and all that before we get into the fight. So why don't you hit us with knowledge?
So I like Craven as the fifth. There are some people that like Electro, but I think Craven brings he brings Safeguard, which I think is very helpful, especially in surviving like the opening from Tigra. And Thing is going to attack whoever has the highest focus. So here we have Mysterio as a raider because like we've tested this and he still has the highest focus as a raider compared to everyone else in this team. So Thing is going to go after him. Now he is going to have immunity and he's also going to have Safeguard from Craven. So that means when he gets punched, he's not going to actually get stunned and then you don't have to worry about it. If you do not use Craven, he's going to go for Mysterio and he's going to stun him, and I do find that becomes a problem, or he may go for whoever your highest focus is. But for me, having Craven, this works best for me because then Mysterio gets hit but does not get stunned. The only issue there is a little bit of RNG with this on Tigra and her opening, because if she starts on Mysterio and change just kind of like around him and on him multiple times, he will go into stealth and then Thing will not attack him, and then it will go for the next highest focus. So it's hard to have a counter these days that doesn't have a little bit of RNG to it, and so it doesn't happen very often. But if you're wondering why your Mysterio suddenly goes into stealth and doesn't get stunned, that is potentially what has happened. For people that use Electro, I guess it's the ult that they really like, but once again, I think the Safeguard from Craven is more useful, and his ability block is more useful.
Yeah, he's also giving offense down to the team on his first attack, right? So he's also going to be cushioning the blow that they direct to you as well. So yeah, I don't think that's actually bad information to share either. So if you're a defensive player instead, and you want to try and shore up your new Avengers, well, make your Tigra as big as possible. She's the star of this team. All right, let's get into the fight. Let's actually show it, and why don't you walk me through the turn order here, and we'll get it done.
Well, first you're gonna have Tigra attack you, and you're gonna be sad. You're just gonna watch and just hope he doesn't go for Mysterio, which he didn't here. So I do like him on the side just to maximize it. As you see, Thing attacked Mysterio, tried to stun him, but could not flip it because of Safeguard and immunity. The Goblin ult is the most helpful here because it's going to rewind and put some trauma on her friends.
Yep. Now, how do you feel about Goblin as a raider? Since he can't use his striker deck there anyway, he could get some vulnerables out there that could get Craven to hit into a vulnerable if your Craven's a striker. Because I think the idea here, right, is we're trying to push the Tigra so that 50% she drops into stealth, and then we can control the Mockingbird.
Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes find his double tap because sometimes you have to basic and like kill somebody really quick. That could help if there's a vulnerable for him to go into, but I mean, him as a raider wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
Either.
Yeah, I also really do like Goblin as a striker. I like that defense down that he can throw out there. I just like the absurd damage that he does, too, on his passive, which is really nice. Looks like, depends on where the next... So all three of our dupes went before our Mysterio. It's important to note that is completely RNG. Your main Mysterio and your dupes have the exact same turn bar, so it's not always going to be the case where we get to go before the Tigra, though it doesn't matter because we're stuck behind these summons anyway, right? So in this situation, what do you think? Should I just throw the ultimate since they're all immune to blind anyway?
I think alt would be the safest. Like ideally, like sometimes if Tiger's smaller and you get the dupes first, you can hit her, get her lower, and then the minions come out. And ideally, if a minion's like right next to Mockingbird, you could try to special here because it's gonna ability block adjacent as well. Because if you can get an ability block on Mockingbird, I do find this match goes even better because then she's not gonna cleanse Tigra. She can't cleanse the other ones because they have trauma, but Tigra is the only one that doesn't. So if Mockingbird gets to go, she's going to cleanse Tigra, and it can get a little bit messy. But in this case, I think ulting is the safest thing to just try to kill as much as you can, and also try to get Vulture going as much as you can.
Right on. And for this one here, is there any reason to use the special? I guess it generates ability energy. It renews the offense up for one additional turn.
I think it's worth it. I've always done the special.
Okay. Yeah, so my thought is if we did the basic, potentially we get a kill, which fuels our Vulture. Maybe Vulture can go before Mockingbird. But with that death proof and the defense up, I'm not sure that would be the case. And then we have Doc Ock, who's going to fuel the Vulture anyway, right? And now it's over.
Fair. She's going to be rude to you for a little bit, but...
Yeah. Tiger's still going to take one more turn here. She's going to absolutely just demolish people. But with the Doc Ock keeping people a little bit healthy, we're going to be able to sustain our way through it. Lots of dodges are going to be eating us alive here too, though. There we go. And so, guys, this is a very, very good counter to a very, very strong team, in my opinion. And this is going to save you lots of headache. When I think about the options, do I want to use this or do I want to use Nowhere? I want to use this. It's not really difficult, right?
You mean Nowhere where it's me waiting for Nova to go?
Yeah, exactly. But we have some other options too besides this new Avengers. So maybe you're using Undying against new Avengers. Maybe you have a different counter that you really like for your new Avengers. We got a bunch of Apocalypse options we can go through here. Let me rewind this. So we got Apocalypse Gamma here. Now this is a slight punch up. This is the exact same team you just saw. Why don't you, and I can't pause this one. Why don't you walk us through why this works as
I can't walk us through this because I've never done this.
You've never done this fight? Okay, well, let me walk you through this then. So you're stuck behind the Hulk to start, but you're able to put the slow out and the offense down on him. It's going to peel off that taunt as well. You're going to get rewound. You see here, this is what you would assume to be the three worst people to get rewound. The Goblin, the Kraven, and the Doc Ock. But that's not a big deal because with the speed bar that Goblin gets, and with the speed up he got on spawn, he's still going to go before you need to worry about this. So Mysterio is going to go ahead and put an ability block on the Apocalypse. And if Mysterio got rewound, it wouldn't have mattered because Goblin would have rewound that Apocalypse and Mysterio still would have went first. So once you get that ability block on Apocalypse, we just start tunneling him down. The reason for that is simple. We just don't want to push the She-Hulk, right? We don't want to give the She-Hulk charges. So we use those very weak dupe hits on the Apocalypse. I'm then going to target She-Hulk with my Green Goblin because I think it kills charges. Even if it doesn't matter. We have trauma all over the place. And here people just start dying. We'll get our Shocker summoned up. That's going to give us offense up. We should have our Vulture going. This is a nasty rewind. Huge damage and execute if they're below 50% life, right? And now is where the magic starts happening. People just start falling over. Even the Apocalypse. You can see this Apocalypse. He's not even going to get his first turn. Like, the ability block was not even necessary because we just rewind him all the way into the grave, which I think is very, very cool. So, yeah, we have additional options as well. Let me pull up a different one now. We also have SD Apocalypse. Now, SD Apocalypse is a little bit different. We do have to switch in the Lizard here. So Kraven comes out, Lizard goes in. You're going to lose your safeguard, but you're going to get speed bar on spawn. So why don't you walk us through this one?
So, as you saw in the last one, there's a reason we're just basically not seeing Gamma on defense. Because, like, I haven't seen a Gamma on defense in, I swear, like, months.
Yeah.
But adding APOC to him, like, we already had good counters for it, which is why we stopped doing it, and now we just have another one. So that makes sense. Now, the SD Apocalypse is more of an issue. It does work even in Chavez versions where she's speeding up APOC because that can be a big issue. So in this one, I think you would have probably specialed on APOC.
Yeah.
And then obviously Lizard ult.
Yeah. And now we're in control, right? Like, we're protected because we have the Vulture beside Lizard, and this is very important. You can't have your Green Goblin beside your Lizard because that's going to get Terminator Rebound by the Miss Marvel, right? Now, we're going to let the Vulture get Terminator Rebound because he's going to get a bunch of speed bar when everything starts dying, including our dupes, including the enemy team. So Vulture's the best person to get, well, both stunned from the Apocalypse and Rebound from Miss Marvel. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for this particular matchup, Green Goblin is fantastic as a striker, right? Because we are hitting into the vulnerables. We are getting lots done. I would actually really like Lizard as a Raider here for additional vulnerables. But if not Raider, Skirmisher for sure, right? Especially if you have a small one to get that vulnerable out there to make sure you're going to get the defense down.
Yeah, and like him stripping is just really, really important.
Yeah.
And like obviously SD just has a lot of buffs and resistance, so you really just need to make sure you kill him.
Yeah, and I ran through this a few times. I wanted to make sure that I could just straight YOLO push the Apocalypse, and you absolutely can. It's crazy how strong this counter is, but if you wanted to slow play it, get the Mysterio ability block on him, you could do that too. I just didn't find it necessary. After that, I like going for Robbie Reyes in this current matchup. What do you think about that? Robbie's always a constant threat with his passive.
He's the most annoying at this point, so like always Robbie, and then friends. Like usually I'll leave Hardlight at this point because she's just not doing very much.
Yeah.
So going for like Black Cat and Photon is
right.
Makes sense.
And now there's another very difficult Apocalypse team that's getting some play right. That's going to be your Apocalypse New Avengers. Now, oddly enough, I would say this is easier than the full New Avengers. What do you think?
I don't know. APOC just sometimes I feel like does whatever he wants to do, but I do find this pretty straightforward. Now, you can use Lizard for this as well, but like I like to try to save Lizard for the secondary team that we're going to talk about. So Kraven works well because you're still doing a lot of the same things, except here, depending on who they take out for APOC, a lot of people take out Thing for APOC. So now you don't have to worry about the stun hitting. But obviously, if they left Thing in instead of Coulson, then you would still have to worry about that focus issue. But I don't find a lot of people do that because they leave Coulson in.
Yeah, I agree. So we're in a similar position that we were before, right? We didn't get to push the Tigra. We don't have a dupe out there taunting, but we're stuck. We got to use the ultimate for Mysterio. You definitely want to use the ultimate for Mysterio in this case. Look, if you can get the ability block on Apocalypse or on Mockingbird, that's fantastic. However, if you can't, you want to put the Disrupt on Apocalypse. It's going to stop him from retaliating, stop him from getting the speed up, and then you're basically going to lap him and take over, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we're going to do here. Eventually. And I just think this is really cool. Now, we should talk a little bit about New Avengers, because there's a lot of people using New Avengers on offense right now, right? Because they do something magical, which we don't want to get into, because we're going to have to make a video about that. But it's super...
Magic.
It's magic. Exactly. It's the Christmas season, for sure.
Well, I like right now that we are in this, like... There are defense teams and there are offense teams, and a lot of them can go either way right now. Like, it's not like in the Gamma days where, like, Gamma was just on defense and you just saw it every time, and then APOC came out and you're like, oh, well, then APOC's with Gamma, and you just dealt with that every war.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more versatility to it, and a lot of people get to play with their Gamma finally, which is what a lot of people wanted. So I think it's just, like, a fun time in war, which is maybe why we're seeing a lot more people enjoying it. Like, a lot more alliances actually caring about it.
Yes, there's a lot more people getting to it. Now, I'm going to show another hit with the exact same thing, just to show that wasn't a fluke, because that Tigra did get to pop her ult off there and do a lot of damage. But you're going to see this plays out the exact same way. I don't push the Tigra, because I'm doing a punch-up here. I believe it was just like a 100k punch-up, but it's a Gear Tier 18 Tigra. It's, like, impossible to get through it. Yeah, Gear Tier 18, 7 red stars. You're probably, well, not probably, if you're facing a alliance like Legion or Onslaught, you are seeing diamonds on your Tigress. So you know it's going to be hard to push her with your everyday, your everyman's kind of Superior 6, Sinister 6 team. But it's nice to know that no matter what, if you get stuck, if as long as you give him that disrupt, you're going to be able to lap him, and you're going to be able to kind of cushion this blow and go from there, right? All right. Go ahead.
Here, what you did is you went after Tigra more. Like last time, you went after the minions more. I just noticed that difference.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could mess it up. Now, what ended up happening is Doc Ock ended up getting pushed, so he got speed bar. Now he comes in and he's basically just saying, "Okay, Vulture, I just laid the path for you. Now you go kill everything." So that's how that happened. Yeah. Now I kind of want to talk about the super secret Scotty sauce, and that's gonna be
Scotty sauce.
It's Scotty sauce. Come on, tell us about your Scotty team.
No, like it basically is just leftovers. And when Slayer came out, I read his kit and I just was like, I feel like this guy is gonna be able to kill big time Spider-Man with his ult, because it is specifically like against Spider-Verse and it's calling in like hits, and I was like, I just feel like this can nuke any big time Spider-Man. And part of the issue with the Tangled Web, Kang, Yo-Yo, Hawkeye, or whoever you use as your two extras, is in defense down with a big time Spider-Man. He goes and he can kill your Hawkeye and Yo-Yo, and people, are trying to buff those guys up and make them fortifiers so they don't die. But we are now seeing bigger big times, because as raid seasons are coming out, people are getting more stars on them, and we're seeing Gear Tier 18, 7 red, no diamonds yet.
Yet.
Big times. And so I kind of was like, I want something that is going to go before big time and kill him, so you don't have that same issue. I don't find this can punch up a lot. I've done like 300, 400k punch ups, but the beauty is that you're going before big time and can kill him before he goes, so then you don't have to worry about the defense down aspect of it.
Yeah, the funny thing is, there's 3 characters you want to have super big on this team, right? Spider Slayer, Electro, and Shocker. Shocker has the 5th highest damage in the game, and with offense up, he's going to be one of the characters that gets called in with the Spider Slayer to do that ultimate attack on big time. And a big Shocker will shock you. It is shocking how much damage Shocker does. Let's go in here and let's watch how this plays out, because I really was shocked when you were like, hey, this team works. And I was like, Scotty, I've been practicing this forever. I can't get it to work. I'm trying to strip the charge of big time off of Electro. What am I doing wrong? You're like, what do you mean? Why is big time alive? Just kill him. I was like, what do you mean? And then the Spider Slayer ultimate comes in. Now, this is not a giant Spider Slayer compared to the Spider and Big Time. I think they're even. This is a Gear Tier 15 Lizard, so there's not like a lot of adjacent damage coming ahead of time. It's a 5 red star.
The big thing that we didn't talk about is Lizard Skirmisher.
Yes.
Very helpful for getting the debuffs off. And also you want to target big time Spider-Man so a vulnerable gets on him.
Yes.
I have never needed the vulnerable, but it is my insurance policy, because I don't want this to fail, that if that vulnerable's there, Spider Slayer is going to have another opportunity to kill big time. Just in case the ult doesn't do it. I have yet to have the ult not do it, but it's my little insurance policy, and I also found a Skirmisher getting those buffs off was really, really, really important.
Yes, let's also mention that it's going to do 350% piercing plus 100% drain, flips 2 of the positive effects. It's not like we're going to get defense down here, unless this is in engineering and he happened to resist the lizard clearing it. Anyway, that's a lot of happenstance.
But so we ulted with lizard, but then you also saw him special with lizard, because lizard gets to go again.
Yeah.
I usually go for Black Widow and someone next to her, but I don't hit big time the second time. Because sometimes Black Widow will say, no, you're not taking my stealth away, or no, you're not taking my speed up away. So I just try to get her buffs off. So hitting her and a friend is ideal. Just don't hit big time Spider-Man again.
Yeah, if you hit big time Spider-Man, he gets 20% speed bar. Spider Slayer does not go first. Big time kills you. But let's talk about what Spider Slayer's doing here. He's doing piercing damage. He's living positive effects. He's repeating this attack, so it's 700 piercing damage. He has offense up. He's then calling in 2 Sinister 6 allies with the highest damage to attack the primary target as well. Electro's going to follow up with a passive attack against the big time if he's not dead yet, and then another striker attack from Slayer. So in total, you're getting 2, 4, 5, 6 attacks in on the big time Spider-Man. I want to be very clear. This is not a giant Spider Slayer, but it could be. This is all the more reason to buff up your Spider Slayer. He's actually really good in Crucible, giving the offense up to the team and fueling the Goblin to go faster. I'm growing, or Spider Slayer's growing on me, except for his stupid animation, his stupid looks. But his kid is growing on me. So let's watch what actually happens here when we play it out. So you see it comes to damage. There's the secondary hit, an assist from Electro, an assist from Shocker, and that's it. And then this would have, the Electro there, who just got covered by snow, she would have taken out the big time, but instead she ended up going for the Yellow Jacket just because big time was dead. And you see how much damage that Electro hit did? So you can imagine there's a big security blanket here and taking out that big time with that hit. So I really like this team. It's going to make sure you don't have to use your Undying against this team. You don't have to risk the Tangled Web Kang in the event you're trying to do it in security. Obviously, you're not going to use your Nowhere team on this anymore. I really like this. I think this is the biggest bargain counter. And it gives me a reason to level up Shocker, who, I've never said this out loud, he was my favorite Spider-Man villain growing up, because that was the first action figure my mom bought me. So, this is good. I like this.
I do find Lizard often dies at some point, mostly because my Lizard is smaller than everybody else.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like taunting, and he's like, "Hey, hit me!" But like, you don't really need him after he's done his first stuff, and then the other 4 help. I don't know if Titania is the best. Like, she just is a leftovers, and I like that. You know, she hits hard. She takes buffs off. She ability blocks, so she is helpful on like the cleanup.
Yeah.
There might be a better 5th. I haven't found one that I like more than her, but she just is kind of another leftover, and she's built quite high for Crucible anyway, and a lot of people have invested in her, so it was nice to have a use for her.
There you go, guys. Why don't you guys in the comment section go play around with this? Let us know what you think the best 5th for this counter would be. Right away, I'm thinking like, hey, maybe we could use Moonstone here for the exact same reason Scotty just listed out. But there's one thing I want to talk about before we leave off with this video, and that is going to be a character that has shaken up the game a little bit in the war side. That's going to be Nightcrawler. So Nightcrawler coming in with that Unlimited team, and Cyclops coming in, because Cyclops is actually really scary now. I know a lot of people were disappointed with the Cyclops rework. I think they're being proven wrong. What do you think about the new X-Men tag, if you will?
I would say Cyclops is not, of the team right now, he is ranked the lowest for me. So I kind of gave Red a lot of crap every time he was talking about it. Because I was like, you don't know how bad he's gonna be. Maybe he'll be great. And like, he's fine in raids, but like Gambit and Nightcrawler for me are the ones that I'm like, whoa, like they're like doing it. Like in this matchup, a lot of people are taking Cyclops out because he really doesn't bring much to it.
Well, he puts taunt out, which is really nice, right? Outside of raids, when the enemy can actually get taunt, he is doing that.
Yeah, but like, we're finding like starting with like a taunt, like an auto taunt, or like Chavez, Dorm, things like that, is like he's the one you're taking out of the team.
Right.
It's not Gambit. It's definitely not Nightcrawler. Like,
yeah,
he's busted.
Not rogue, man. Nightcrawler is like a top 3 character, right?
Yeah, like Dazzler's pretty annoying in there, because she's flipping stuff. So I'd say Cyclops is probably not going to be in it for most teams.
Hey, that's fair enough. I really like Cyclops.
For now, until maybe more of the team comes out. But I have to, unfortunately, very much agree with Red right now. That he's underwhelming for who he is.
They also did say, though, that there's going to be a few X-Men reworks coming in. They kind of threw that in the bottom of a blog. So maybe we're going to get a Phoenix rework. We get Phoenix, Cyclops synergy popping off there with Nightcrawler helping out. Could be a thing. Could be a thing. So, like War Dogs pre-Nightcrawler could punch up like 400 or 500k against Unlimited, right? Easy. Same with Underworld. Underworld could have absolutely crushed it as well. I don't know if I did the right priority here. I went for Nightcrawler, forgot he goes into stealth. But like, no matter what, he seems like even if you try and tunnel him out, he reaches his ultimate and then you die because Nightcrawler ultimate is bonkers.
We found going for Gambit the best.
Going for Gambit the best. See that
So
blind.
if there's an auto taunt and you can't go for Gambit, then it makes it harder.
Right.
People are still pulling it off, but like going for Gambit seemed the best because then you're getting like a trauma on him as well, I'm pretty sure. And then Dazzler can't cleanse him.
Right.
But then Rogue goes off. Like I was down to because like Nobu never got to go. And then I had Kingpin and Mr. Negative left and their little minions, and I just pulled off like a punch across.
That's exactly what happens here, except I give up at the end. I don't summon again with Kingpin. All right, guys, we're going to leave you off with that. So we're going to be playing around with the X-Men. That's what the next video will be centered around, either that or the super secret sauce that New Avengers can do. I'm going to let you guys pick in the comment section below. I'll put 2 pinned comments. Vote for which one you want the next War Guide video to be about, the New Avengers super secret sauce or an X-Men breakdown. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of different characters to look at for the Unlimited X-Men and just Nightcrawler plug-and-play potential. Scotty, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon. Bye. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.